Welcome to my first Multi-Passionate PSA. My name is Caitlin Bosshart. I am a life coach for multi-passionate creatives. And this is going to be a video series that I'm creating with the intention of sharing insights that I've learned about working with multi-passionate people and being one myself, answering questions that I hear come up over and over about multi-passionate people, challenges that they face, and then also trying to flip the script on some of the challenges and maybe negative narratives that people have about themselves about being multi-passionate. Hey, Ashlyn, thanks for tuning in. So today, what I want to do is talk about, kind of like start from the very beginning. A lot of times multi-passionate people, they'll reach out to me and they really resonated with something I've said about being multi-passionate. But then they'll later reflect and say, I don't know if I'm actually a multi-passionate person. And they sort of want to know, do they fit the definition of what it means to be multi-passionate? And my first reaction is like, no, like this isn't meant to be another box to put yourself into, but instead it's something that you get to define for yourself. So today what I want to do is actually give a few examples of what it can look like to be multi-passionate, but with like an asterisk in that you can make that look any way that you want. And some of the examples that I'm giving, you might actually be a blend of them. And there's no right or wrong way to be a multi-passionate person. So one thing that kind of comes up for people is, if there's somebody who a lot of their passions maybe fall under like a big umbrella. So I see this happen a lot with artists where their passions all connect back to art as being like an overarching like umbrella category. But really, they express themselves in so many different ways. They are a painter and they do graphic art, and then they are fiber artists and they make jewelry and all these different things. Like that is being multi-passionate. And then there's maybe like people who they see themselves as like a primary, their primary form of art is like a fiber artist, for example, but they're really, really passionate about social issues, for example, and they combined their passion for social issues into the art that they create. And that's just another way of being multi-passionate. There are also people who they kind of believe that to be multi-passionate, they have to have like tons of projects going on all the time. And there's a lot of us that are not like that. There are people who are more, they focus on one major project at a time. That's where all their energy goes. And then when they're ready to move on, they move to the next thing. And sometimes they never look back at those projects. Then there's other multi-passionate people who their passions are really cyclical. Like they go back to the same passions over and over and over, like across time. So like one example of that is like sometimes there's seasonal passions that people have that it makes sense to really focus in on your garden, or I'm a beekeeper and I really spend a lot of time like thinking about my bees in the summer, but not so much in the winter. There are, there's just so many different ways to look at it. Oh, another thing, sorry, I get excited talking about this because it's so fun and it's interesting to see like that, like there's just, we are all so different and we express in such different ways. So another thing is, some multi-passionate people, it's really, really important to them that their passions are incorporated into their work, the work that they do in the world. Whereas there are other multi-passionate people that as long as they have a job that makes them happy and fulfills their needs in some ways, but allows them to do all their passions outside of work, that really makes a lot of sense for them. So there's so many, I see, Ashley, oh my God, that's me. So there are like so many different ways that we can kind of show up in the world. And so what I do with my clients is like to help you understand what is your unique way of expressing being multi-passionate. There are multi-passionate people that they love to like dive super deep and become an expert in every single thing that they do. And then there's other multi-passionate people that they more skim the surface. Like they just kind of want to know the basics of something, and then they're good with that and they want to move on. So there's no right or wrong way. And so I want you to think of this rather than multi-passionate being this box. I want you to think of it as this like really stretchy, always changing, morphing sort of container that is something that we can claim as something for ourselves, where we get to shape it, we get to define it for what we want it to look like. So I would love to hear from you, whether you're watching this live or on the replay. What resonated with you? Did anything that I described sound like you? Or are you a combination of things? And I would also love to know if there's other questions that you have, if there's things that you feel like you struggle with as being a multi-passionate person. I'll do videos about that, and hopefully speak to some of those things and to hopefully support you. So I do want to leave you with this, and this is really like my mission and my passion in the work that I do, and that is to really encourage you to please not settle for less than the life that you want to live. To don't settle for less than a life that is going to fulfill you and light you up, and for you to really lean into these multi-passionate tendencies, because I truly believe that that is the key to helping you to create a fulfilling life. Because all of this said, the world craves your authenticity. They crave what you have to bring to it. We need your ideas. We need your solutions. We need the beauty and the art that you bring. And that's what we're here for. So please reach out if you have any questions, and have a wonderful day.